Before we begin this night prayer, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. God, I don't have much left in me tonight. Not enough strength to climb. Not enough clarity to pray well. Not enough stillness to calm myself down. Not enough light to find my way forward. I've stretched so far today, stretched past what I could hold, past what I could explain, past the surface of what anyone else could see. And now I'm empty in ways that only you can understand. I don't even know how to describe this exhaustion. It's not just physical. It's something deeper. Like my soul has been dragging behind me, too quiet to cry out, too tired to catch up. And even though I showed up, even though I smiled when I was supposed to, even though I kept doing the next thing, I know you saw the part of me that was slowly giving way, the part that needed help hours ago. The part that's not asking to be rescued anymore, just to be held. So tonight I'm not trying to pull myself together. I'm not trying to make sense of what's been unraveling. I'm not trying to prove I can make it on my own. I'm letting go of the need to push. I'm stepping back from the edge of my own expectations. And I'm turning to you, not as a last resort, but as my first surrender. You are the only place I want to fall, the only arms that don't drop me, the only presence that doesn't pressure me to be more than I am. So carry me, God, not because I've earned it, not because I've done enough, but because I'm yours. Because you've carried me before, because you never asked me to earn rest. You only asked me to receive it. Let this bed be more than a bed. Let it be the curve of your palm beneath me. Let these covers be the robe of peace you wrap around me. Let the silence become a soft yes. Yes to stopping. Yes to being small. Yes to letting you do what I can't. My muscles don't want to fight anymore. My thoughts don't want to race. My fears don't want to pretend they have control. I want to sink into this night like a tired child, curling into a parent's side. I want to exhale the weight I've carried all day and inhale the closeness of a God who never left me, not for 1 second. I want to rest with no task in my hands, no plan in my mind, no pressure on my shoulders, just stillness, just surrender, just the sacred silence of being safe. And if anything still needs to be fixed, you can hold that too. If anything still hurts, you can cover it. If anything feels undone, unraveled, or unanswered, you are not in a rush. You are not in a rush. You are not surprised. You are not demanding that I solve it all tonight. You are asking me to trust you with it, to hand it over like a small package I can't carry, not anymore. So I do. Every broken thing, every anxious thought, every unspoken ache, I place them on your shoulders, because mine are too tired and yours are too kind to let me walk this alone. So carry me, God, just for tonight, or longer, however long it takes. I don't need the night to be perfect, I just need to know you're here. I don't need every thought to quiet down, or every fear to leave, or every memory to stop aching. I just need to know I don't have to carry all of it myself. Not now. Not while I'm trying to rest. Not when my strength has already bowed out for the day. I don't even need you to fix everything by morning. I just need you to hold it through the night. Because if you're holding it, I can sleep. If you're not afraid of the things I'm afraid of, then I don't have to fight them in the dark. If you're not overwhelmed by the pressure I've been under, then I don't have to keep trying to stand tall in it. I can bend. I can rest. I can let. There is no shame in being carried, no weakness in trusting someone stronger. You never asked me to prove my strength before I could access yours. You never said, come to me when you're fine. You said, come to me when you're weary. That's what I am tonight. And that's why I come. Not with a well-formed prayer, not with a list of holy words, not with a glowing spirit, just with this quiet need, just with this aching body and overwhelmed heart and soul that wants to fall into your hands and not be asked to climb out. I don't want to be fixed like a project. I want to be loved like a person. I want to be known beyond my performance. I want to be carried without the pressure to stand up and walk again right away. Let me be still in your presence, not as a test, but as a kindness. Let stillness be my sanctuary tonight. I'm not praying for productivity. I'm not praying for another push. I'm not praying to get ahead. I'm praying to be carried, not into success, not into visibility, not into answers, just into rest, into real, deep, soul-level rest that doesn't demand I have it all together. Let me curl inward without guilt. Let me say enough for now without fear. Let me feel the truth of this sacred quiet, that you are still God when I am still, and you are still good when I can't see the end. Teach me how to rest without apology. Teach me that laying it all down doesn't mean failure. It means faith. Faith that you don't drop what is placed in your hands. Faith that I am safe even when I'm asleep. Faith that this moment, right here, is enough. So I won't keep talking to fill the space. Won't keep explaining why I'm tired. You already know. I won't keep trying to earn your tenderness. It's already mine. I'll just be here, God, letting you carry me, letting you breathe over the parts of me that feel frayed, letting you hum peace into the spaces I've kept tense for too long. I'll let the night be what it is, not a punishment, not a battle, not an obstacle to overcome, but a place where you meet me, quiet and close, like you've always done. I'll fall asleep in that truth. I'll trust you to hold me until morning. There's something sacred about reaching the end of myself and realizing that it's not the end of you, that my limits aren't a disappointment to you. They're an invitation to lean in, to be small, to let my tired head rest against a strength that doesn't need sleep, that doesn't falter, that doesn't flinch when I hand over the messy pieces of my day. You're not discouraged by how heavy it all feels to me. You don't measure me by how well I manage it. You don't shame me for being exhausted by the things I thought I could handle. You just open your arms wider and say, let me carry you tonight. And I'm letting you. I'm not standing on the edge, waiting to prove that I can still walk. I'm not negotiating how much I'm allowed to let go. I'm not making a plan for tomorrow. I'm sinking into now, into this quiet moment where I get to be the one who's carried. Not because I'm broken, but because I'm human. Because I've reached the part of the night when pretending takes more energy than I have. Because I've spent enough time today holding it together, and now I want to fall apart into the hands of a God who doesn't ask me to stay strong for him. I want to unravel in the safest place I know, the arms that made me, the arms that know what every sigh means, the arms that never let go. I've spent enough nights trying to be my own shelter, enough nights believing I had to stay alert to be safe, enough nights repeating the loop of old fears and unfinished tasks in my head. But not tonight, not this time. Tonight, I want peace to be the loudest voice in the room. I want stillness to be my home. I want surrender to feel like strength. And I want to remember what it's like to be a soul that can stop spinning, stop clenching, stop apologizing for being tired. I want to be the child again, not childish, but held. I want to fall asleep, not in my performance, but in your presence. So let your presence be thick tonight. Let it meet me where words run dry, where hope feels thin, where no plan seems enough, where I've run out of strategies and steps and self-talk that used to help. Let your nearness do what my thinking can't: calm me, ground me. Remind me that I'm not too much, that my need doesn't scare you, that you don't sleep, not because you're watching for my mistakes, but because you're keeping watch over me. You don't pace the floor of heaven anxiously wondering how I'll make it. You sit beside me, still, steady, kind, faithful. You are not in a hurry, so I don't have to be either. I'll stay here in that truth. I won't run ahead into tomorrow. I won't run back to today's failures. I'll breathe slow. I'll close my eyes. I'll let this body soften into the truth that I am loved. Not for how well I handled this day, but for the simple fact that I am yours, and that's all you need to hold me. That's all you need to carry me. That's all you need to stay. I don't want to keep bracing for what might go wrong. I don't want to lay here rehearsing all the ways I could have done better, all the moments I should have been stronger, wiser, kinder, more patient. I don't want my last thoughts before sleep to be heavy with self-judgment. I want to end this day with you, not as a task to complete, but as a place to return. I want to lie down without armor, without defenses, without rehearsing conversations in my head or scanning my soul for mistakes I might have missed. I just want to be here, honest, spent, and still somehow held. I want to learn that you don't just tolerate me in this state, you welcome me in it. You see how thin my energy has stretched. You see how I've tried to hold it all. Emotions, responsibilities, expectations, people, like spinning plates I couldn't afford to drop. And I know I did drop a few today. I know I let some things fall, and maybe they weren't all mine to carry to begin with. But still, I feel the sting of it. Still, I wish I could go back and fix it all before bringing it to you. But that's not what you ask. You don't ask for perfection. You ask for presence. You ask for trust. You ask for the kind of surrender that says, I can't anymore, will you? And I know you will. I know you already are. I feel it even now, in the way the tension is beginning to leave my shoulders, in the way my breathing starts to slow when I say your name, in the way I sense something deeper than exhaustion, something sacred, something like being known, not just watched, carried, not just tolerated, loved, not for what I offered today, but for the simple act of letting you hold me now. What a miracle to be this tired, this small, this undone, and still completely safe, still completely yours. You don't see me as a burden tonight. You see me as beloved. You don't require my composure. You don't require answers. You just ask me to lie down in the truth that you are near and you are enough. You ask me to stop trying to be more than human, to stop pretending I can sustain what only you are meant to carry. And maybe that's the gift of being worn down. It finally makes me reach for you, not as a supplement, but as the whole foundation beneath me. I don't want to stand on my own strength anymore. I want to sleep in yours. I want to be the one who stops striving first, the one who dares to rest while the world keeps spinning, because I know who holds it all. So I'm closing my eyes with nothing left to offer. No promises, no plans. Just a soul willing to be carried through the night. And that's enough. Because you're enough. I don't need to understand how you're holding me. I don't need to see the evidence, or feel something dramatic, or even sense the shift right away. I just need to know that you are who you've always been. The steady arms beneath the silence, the warmth that doesn't fade when the lights go out, the whisper that says I'm here without asking for anything in return. I don't need you to move mountains tonight. I don't need a breakthrough. I just need to be with you in this quiet space where effort isn't required, where I'm not the strong one, where faith is simply breathing while you stay. And I feel it now, not as fireworks, not as resolution, but as peace. Not the kind that erases all the questions, but the kind that makes them safe to carry. Not the kind that fixes everything, but the kind that tells me I don't have to fix it tonight. You're not measuring my faith by the boldness of my prayers. You're seeing it in the softness of my trust, in the way I release the pressure to solve, to strive, to perfect, in the way I lay it all down, not because I'm giving up, but because I'm finally giving in, to your gentleness, to your patience, to your mercy that never sleep. Let this be enough for tonight. This letting go, this slow breathing, this soul surrendering to the fact that it is loved, that it is known, that it is safe. Let this be my worship, not in words, but in rest. Let sleep be the way I say, I trust you. Let stillness be my prayer. Let every inhale whisper, you are with me, and every exhale confess, I'm not alone. Let the covers feel like grace. Let the darkness feel like a veil you've gently drawn, not to hide me, but to hold me until morning. And let morning come, not with pressure, but with promise. The promise that you'll still be here, that nothing I face will surprise you, that nothing I need will be withheld from me. I'm not bracing for tomorrow. I'm not rehearsing the next step. I'm letting this day be over, and I'm letting your presence be the last thing I feel before sleep finds me. No more questions, no more striving. Just the quiet nearness of the one who never asked me to earn rest, only to receive it. So I do, now, fully, gratefully, trustingly. Carry me while I rest, God. And when the morning comes, I'll rise in your strength, not because I forced myself to, but because you never stopped holding me. I don't want to open my eyes. I don't want to climb back into the noise. Not yet. Not when I've found this softness. Not when I've finally remembered what it feels like to stop reaching and still not be alone. There's no one here watching, no one measuring how many words I say, how well I pray, how whole I sound. There's just this space, this hushed, holy space, where you are, where I am, and that's enough. No pressure, no performance, no fixing required. And somehow, even though nothing has visibly changed, everything feels different now. The weight has shifted. My body may still ache, but my soul is no longer bracing. My heart may still be tired, but it's not resisting anymore. You're holding the part of me that can't hold itself tonight, and I don't need to understand how. I just need to keep breathing in this awareness of you. It's strange how heavy we become when we carry ourselves too long. The kind of heaviness that creeps into your bones, into the places no one else sees. And even when we move and speak and function, we're dragging pieces of our souls behind us. Unsaid things, unmet needs, unattended pain. But I don't feel like I'm dragging anything now. I don't feel like I'm compensating or protecting or proving. I'm just here, in this slow quiet, in this breath by breath surrender, letting you be the one who watches, who notices, who responds, letting you be God while I let go of every attempt to be more than human. I don't want this to be a moment I rush through. I don't want to wake up in a few hours and wonder if I really let you in, or if I only touched the surface and backed away when it got real. I want to stay, not in a room or in a ritual, but in this posture, this openness, this release. I want to stop negotiating with the night. Stop trying to wrestle rest out of a restless mind. You've already made the way for peace to come. I don't need to earn it. I just need to stop building walls against it. And I'm learning how, slowly, gently, one breath at a time. I'm learning how to stay open to stillness, how to sit with the discomfort of quiet and find that you're not silent in it. You're alive in it, present, whole, steady, kind. You're not far. You're not waiting for a better version of me to appear. You're not confused by my fatigue or offended by my limits. You're not even trying to talk me out of them. You're just here. And somehow, that's healing. That's restoring. That's enough to unravel the tightest parts of me. Not because you've flooded the room with fireworks, but because you've filled it with yourself. And you've done it so quietly. I almost missed it, but now that I know you're here, I don't want to move. I don't want to lose this nearness just because the rest of the world doesn't see it. You always come like this, don't you? Not in lightning, not in volume, but in presence. Just presence. Full and unhurried, and asking nothing but that I stop pretending I don't need it. So I'm not going to tidy up my heart before I sleep. I'm not going to rehearse closure or strategize solutions. I'm going to stay soft. Stay and finished. Stay held. Let my weakness remain weakness if that's what keeps me leading. Let my night remain long if that's where you keep whispering. I'm not afraid of being unproductive here. I'm not afraid of not knowing what comes next. I'm starting to see that what I need most isn't the resolution of every question, but the quiet companionship of a God who isn't in a rush to leave. And you're not. You've never been. So let this breath be the prayer. Let this stillness be the song. Let this ache that still lingers in the corners of my chest be known by you, not analyzed, not dissected, just known. You don't need me to explain myself. You already see beneath the surface. You already interpret the sighs. You already read the unspoken tension I carry when I curl inward and try not to be too much. You know I'm not asking for fireworks, just nearness. Not asking for miracles, just mercy. Not asking to feel strong, just safe. And that's exactly what you're giving. No one else may see this moment. No one else may understand what it took for me to admit I needed to be carried, but you do. You always do. And you don't shame me for it. You don't try to push me to get back up faster. You let me stay. Let me rest. Let me break rhythm with the world's demands and return to something older, something deeper. The rhythm of grace. The rhythm of presence. The rhythm of you and me, unhurried, unedited, unafraid. Let the night carry on if it must. Let the hours pass without pressure. Let the silence grow wide around us. I won't rush it. I won't interrupt it. I won't insist on moving forward when stillness is the holiest thing I can offer now. Let the stillness stretch as far as it needs to. Let it hold everything I can't. Let it speak for me when I don't have the language. Let it be the canvas where your peace paints itself across the bruises I've been ignoring. Let it be the shelter that asks nothing of me but honesty. I can do that. I can be honest. I'm tired. I'm here. And I don't want to carry anything alone tonight. So be the one who carries what I won't name. Be the arms that stay when the lights are off and the heart is open. Be the quiet beneath the questions. Be the breath that holds mine steady. Be the nearness that doesn't leave even when I fall asleep. I don't need to understand how. I just need to know you're still here when I wake. I'm still here, God. Not for a moment of clarity. Not for answers. Just for the being with. Just for this holy, unspoken space where everything slows down and nothing is demanded of me. I don't know what time it is anymore. I don't know what parts of the day are still trying to echo through my body, but I know that the noise is fading, that what remains isn't emptiness, but something quieter than peace and more rooted than calm, a kind of nearness that doesn't need to introduce itself. I don't have the words for it. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe you don't want words tonight. Maybe you just want me. Not the put-together version, not the one with prayers that sound good in public. Just the raw, breath-worn, sleep-heavy me that stayed long enough to feel this stillness settle. I never realized how sacred it is to stay. Not to pray more, not to feel more, not to resolve more. Just to stay. Just to breathe slow enough that my heart stops racing. Just to be present enough to realize I don't have to be impressive to be received. You've already said yes to me. You're not watching from far away. You're holding this room from the inside out. I can feel that now, not as sensation, not even as emotion, but as something older than language, something I may have forgotten but never truly lost. The simple truth that I belong here. I belong in your presence, even when I feel like I failed. I belong in your arms, even when I can't lift mine. I belong in this moment, not because I've done enough to earn it, but because you've always been the kind of God who welcomes the undone, and I am undone. Not in shame, not in despair, just in honesty. There's nothing more I need to hold up, nothing more I need to explain. I'm not waiting for an internal breakthrough anymore. I'm not trying to stir up more reverence or more clarity or more anything. I've done enough for one day. I've felt enough, carried enough, tried enough. And now I just want to be the one who rests without apology, the one who lets the silence speak more than effort ever could, the one who lets you be God without jumping in to help. What if that's what surrender looks like tonight? Not a grand gesture, not a big prayer, not an emotional flood, just a tired soul that dares to lie still and not reach for anything but breath. That might be the bravest thing I've done all day. Not fixing, not planning, not pretending, just letting go, just being the one you carry. Let this moment stretch. Let it hold longer than I expect. Let it widen into something deep enough to sleep in. I don't want to climb out of this place before it does its work in me, before I remember again that I'm not a problem to be solved, that I'm not late to some spiritual performance, that I'm not behind on some invisible scoreboard. I'm just tired, and I'm yours. It's all that matters right now. Let that be enough. Let that be the lullaby beneath every heartbeat. Let that be the truth that follows me into sleep. Don't need tomorrow's strength yet. I don't need delight yet. I just need this smallness, this steady nearness, this letting go of needing to feel spiritual in order to be loved. You don't love me because I'm aware of you. You love me because you made me, and you keep loving me through the awareness and the fog, through the gratitude and the grief, through the nights when I pray with poetry and the nights when I can't form a single coherent sentence. This is one of those nights, and still you stay. Still you cover me. Still you hold this room together when I can't. Still you whisper, nothing more is required of me. Still you breathe peace into the places that don't have a name yet. Still you remain. I'll stay too, God. Not because I feel spiritual, but because I believe you're worth staying with. And maybe that's what faith really is. Not a feeling to chase, but a presence to rest into. I'm resting now, not to escape, not to earn anything, just to be close, just to let you do the holding while I let myself be small. No striving, no performance, just presence, just you, just me, and this quiet yes that finally has room to breathe. I don't even know how long I've been here, maybe minutes, maybe hours, but time has lost its meaning now, and I'm not afraid of that. There's no clock running in my chest anymore, no pressure to get somewhere, no agenda to complete before I can rest. Just breath, just presence, and maybe for the first time today, or the first time in a long time, I'm not asking you to fix anything. I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm not even asking for comfort. I'm just letting myself be near you without needing to hold it together. It's so quiet here, and yet I feel more alive than I have all day. Not the kind of alive that makes me leap, but the kind that makes me want to stay still forever. The kind that knows I am fully seen, fully known, fully carried, and I don't need to do a single thing to keep it. That's the kind of peace I didn't know I was longing for. It didn't come when I tried to name it. It didn't come when I tried to deserve it. It came when I stopped. When I stopped trying to prove I was worthy of being carried. When I stopped trying to have the right posture, the right words, When I stopped fighting the tiredness and finally admitted I didn't want to be strong tonight, that I didn't want to be impressive, that I didn't want to be the one who handles everything. I just wanted to be the one who is safe, the one who is not alone. And I am. I know that now. I know it deeper than knowledge. I know it in my bones. In the way I'm not clenching anymore. In the way I'm not waiting for the next wave of fear to come. In the way I've finally stopped rehearsing worst-case scenarios in the back of my mind. You've quieted something deeper than my thoughts. You've quieted my need to control, and that stillness, God, it's holy. I don't want to move from it. I don't want to rush back into the noise, even if it's waiting for me in the morning. Let the noise wait. Let the world go on spinning without me for just a few more breaths. Let the demands be unmet. Let the tension go unheld. Let the questions remain unanswered, because in this stillness, there's a kind of truth that doesn't come with explanations, just presence, just this deep, wordless certainty that I am not abandoned, not misplaced, not forgotten. Even if I feel invisible to the world, I am seen here. Even if I failed today, I am wanted here. Even if I've lost the thread of who I am, you have not. You remember. You keep remembering, even when I don't. I used to think faith had to be loud, that it had to look like courage and sound like bold declarations and move like certainty. But now I think faith might look a lot like this. A tired soul choosing to stay open, a fragile heart refusing to run, a quiet human letting God be enough without needing proof. Maybe this is what trust looks like in its purest form. Not confidence, but dependence. Not knowing, but resting. Not understanding, but still saying, I'll stay here with you. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all you were waiting for. Not a better version of me. Not a fixed version, just the honest one. Just the one who finally said, I can't carry it, and let you carry me instead. You don't get tired of holding me, do you? You don't grow weary of meeting me in this same place every night, every weakness, every unraveling. I've come to you here more times than I can count, and every time I bring something different, or sometimes nothing at all. Just my breath, just my bare need to be held. And you never turn away, you never sigh, you never say again. You just open your arms, and that's what I needed most tonight. Not to be healed, not to be strengthened, not even to be taught, just to be held. Held without an expiration, held without a condition, held until I forget I was ever afraid of being a burden. And now, I don't even feel like I need to sleep. Not because I'm full of energy, but because this stillness feels like the truest kind of rest. I could stay here in this breath forever. Not because I've escaped life, but because I've finally met you in the part of it that doesn't need fixing. You're not here to upgrade me. You're not here to make me useful. You're just here. And that's enough. You're enough. Not because I understand how. Not it all suddenly feels light, but because you never change. You never leave. You never wait for me to perform. You just stay. So I'll stay too. I'll stay until the last thought softens, until the last muscle stops bracing, until the last corner of me that was afraid to be seen opens its hand and lets go. I'll stay because this isn't a performance. This isn't a moment I need to earn or present. This is what it means to be carried. This is what it means to trust. This is what it means to be yours, fully, quietly, without effort. And when I finally sleep, it won't be from exhaustion. It'll be from peace. I'm not waiting for a sign anymore. I'm not holding my breath, hoping for some grand assurance to land in my chest like thunder. There's no need. You've already come, not with fanfare, not with proof, but with presence, the kind that doesn't raise its voice, the kind that doesn't knock, the kind that simply enters the room. I finally stopped trying to clean up, and I'm not asking you to say anything. I don't need the confirmation. I don't even need the comfort right now. I just need this nearness to stay a little longer, and I think it will. Not because I've earned it, not because I've managed to calm myself down, but because you are not fragile, and your closeness isn't based on my consistency. You're still here. That's what matters. This is not the kind of peace the world teaches you to seek. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't shout. It doesn't sweep away the hard edges or rush to solve. It settles. It rests. It lingers without asking for applause, and it asks for nothing in return. Just that I stop resisting it. Just that I stay here long enough to realize that being loved is not a reward strength. It's the condition in which I exist. It's the air I was made to breathe, and I can finally breathe again. Not because the pressure has disappeared, but because you've taken your seat in the middle of it and made it holy. Not because the ache is gone, but because the ache has finally stopped being something I have to hide. It's allowed now. It's seen. It's safe. And in that safety, even the sharpness dulls. Even the panic fades into the background. Even the old fears lose their grip. You've stayed longer than I expected, and the longer you stay, the more I realize you never left. Not once. Not even when I blamed you. Not even when I buried myself in distraction, or wrapped myself in independence, or tried to carry pain I wasn't made for. You are still here, not waiting at the end of the struggle, but in the middle of it, hands open, breath steady, eyes kind. You are already carrying me before I asked. And I see that now. I feel it in the way my body has finally stopped preparing for battle. I feel it in the way I no longer need to narrate this experience to make it real. It just is. You just are. And I'm just here, not needing to be fixed, not needing to perform, just breathing in a room that now feels like sanctuary, because you have made it so. There's nothing left I need to say. Not because I'm done, but because I'm finally full in a way that doesn't demand words. I don't need to explain why I broke down today. I don't need to justify the numbness or account for the tears or make sense of the spiral I couldn't stop. You've already seen it. You've already held it. You've already walked with me through it without asking me to tidy up before we got here. And I don't need to promise that I'll do better tomorrow. You're not here for my improvement plan. You're here for me, not the future me, not the potential me, just me. The one who ran out of ways to pray and sat still anyway. The one who didn't know what else to ask and fell silent instead. The one who now realizes that silence was never a failure. It was the moment you could finally speak. And you didn't fill the silence with commands. You didn't correct me. You didn't rush me toward a solution. You just sat with me. You stayed. And somehow, in the staying, everything softened. The worry curled up and fell asleep. The shame found no audience and slipped away. The grief, too big to name, found room to stretch out without apology. You didn't try to shrink it. You didn't scold it. You let it be what it was. And that kindness, that divine restraint, did more than fixing ever could. It made space. It made room for me to be a soul again, not a burden, not a body, not a role, not a result, just a soul, still breathing, still carried, still wanted. It's strange how we spend our days bracing, and yet 1 hour in this stillness undoes it all. And it's not because the stillness gave me anything. It's because it asked nothing. And in the asking nothing, I finally remembered that love was never supposed to be earned. That rest was never supposed to be conditional. That I was never meant to walk on my own, prove myself worthy, or climb into your arms only after getting my act together. I was always meant to be held. Not because I'm failing, but because I'm human. And being human was never the disqualifier. It was always the reason. The reason you drew near, the reason you stayed close, the reason you whispered, "Let me carry you." And I let you. Tonight, I let you. Without resistance, without ceremony, without even needing to feel it all perfectly. I let you, because I can't pretend anymore that I don't need to be held. I can't pretend I'm fine or strong or okay on my own. But more than that, I no longer want to. I don't want to be the one who makes it through. I want to be the one who's never left behind. And you've already made that true. You already have. Long before this night, long before this breath, long before this letting go, you made it true when you said I was yours, and you haven't changed your mind. So I'll rest now, not because I've done everything right, but because I've come back, because I've stopped running, because I've remembered what it means to be loved with no strings attached. That kind of love can carry anything, and it's carrying me now into stillness, into sleep, into the kind of peace that no storm can undo. Not because it hides me from pain, but because it holds me through it. I think this is what I was longing for all along, but never had the language to describe. This depth of stillness, this wordless knowing, this rest that doesn't erase the day, but carries it differently. I've stopped trying to shape the moment and started letting it shape me. I don't need the light on. I don't need the noise back. I don't need to explain to myself why this silence feels safer than anything else I've touched today. Maybe it's because you're no longer just near. You're here, not conceptually, not in metaphor, actually, softly, entirely. I don't remember the last time I trusted this deeply without needing some kind of confirmation. But now it's happening, almost without effort, almost by accident, like a tide that has come in while I wasn't looking, and now surrounds me completely. I've stopped reaching, stopped adjusting, stopped even naming what I feel, because here there is no obligation to describe, only permission to dissolve. Not disappear, but dissolve into something gentler than thought. My body no longer asks me to defend it. My mind no longer races for control. My heart no longer scrambles to keep up with emotion. Everything that once demanded attention has exhaled into surrender, and you have not taken advantage of that surrender. You've simply met it with your own. Not a God standing tall above my weakness, but a God bending lower still, until I forget where I end and you begin. There's no fear of silence here, no waiting for the next thing to go wrong, no posturing for worth, just breath, and not even mine alone. I think I'm breathing with you now. I think we've synced somehow. The rhythm in my chest, not separate from yours anymore, and it's not mystical or dramatic or complicated. It's just simple, finally, fully simple. I'm not asking for help. I'm not even asking to be carried anymore. You already are. That happened somewhere back there, maybe a few thoughts ago, maybe a few heartbeats ago. When I stopped resisting, you stopped waiting, and now we're just here, together. This is not the kind of intimacy I was taught to expect. Not busy with fire and flashes, but utterly undemanding. Like sitting beside someone who needs nothing from you except that you don't leave. I could live here, not as a place, but as a posture, not as a retreat from life, but as a return to how life was meant to be. I don't need to figure anything out. I don't need to re-engage. I don't need to prepare for what comes next, because what I've found here is not an escape, but a center. And if this is the center, then maybe I don't have to worry about losing it again. Maybe it will go with me. Maybe I won't have to claw my way back into peace next time. Maybe peace will come looking for me. Maybe it always has. I think the most sacred truth of all is not that you're carrying me now, but that you never stopped, even when I forgot how to rest, even when I refused to lean, Even when I pushed you away in the name of independence, you kept holding me quietly, constantly. Even when I didn't know I was being held, and now I do. Not just with my mind, not even just with my spirit, but my whole self. My body knows it, my breath knows it, the room knows it. Everything is at ease in a way that words can't make sense of. And I'm not rushing to define it. I'm not hoarding this moment like something rare. I think this is how you want me to live. Not occasionally arriving in your presence, but learning how to never leave it. Learning how to remain. So I'll remain. Even when my eyes close. Even when my dreams come. Even when the world restarts without asking. I'll stay, not in effort, but in trust. And if I wake with nothing else, I hope I wake still here, still held, still inside this quiet, where nothing is demanded and everything is given. Still carrying. There's nothing left in me that wants to move. Nothing left that's trying to rearrange the moment, to improve it, to optimize it into something more spiritual, more meaningful, more emotionally full. I don't need it to feel bigger than it is. The bigness is in the stillness. The miracle is in the not moving. I'm not even sure if I'm praying anymore in the way I used to understand prayer. This feels more like listening without the need to hear, like resting without the need to recover, like being so fully in you that I don't know where I begin or end. It's not dramatic, it's not euphoric, it's just real. And that's more than enough. For years I thought surrender would feel like loss, like giving up or being small in a way that left me exposed. But this surrender feels like completion, like finally stepping into the shape I was always meant to inhabit, like putting down every version of myself I tried to maintain for the sake of being acceptable, and realizing you never wanted any of them. You wanted this one, the quiet one, the emptied one, the one who doesn't need to say anything because she finally trusts that you're still speaking, that you've always been speaking. Even when I filled the air with my own noise, you were never absent. I just didn't know how to hear the language of silence yet. But I'm learning, not with effort, not with discipline, just with presence, just with time, just by not rushing out of the quiet before it does its work. Because this quiet is doing something deeper than peace. It's reforming me, not reshaping me into something better, but remembering me back into someone true. The version of me that doesn't overcompensate, doesn't pretend, doesn't armor herself with logic or productivity or distance. The version of me that simply is. And you are here with her. You are here with me. And I think you've always preferred this version, the one not trying to impress you, the one not waiting for perfect theology to speak, the one not afraid to be held, because I finally believe you're not here to teach me a lesson. You're here to carry what I forgot I was holding, and you've been doing it all along, quietly, without demanding thanks, without expecting performance, just being who you are. The God who stays even when I disappear into my distractions, into my striving, into my sorrow. I think what's shocking is how gently you waited, how you never forced me into awareness, how you let me wear myself out trying to be enough until I collapsed into the arms that were ready long before I asked. I don't feel like collapsing now. I feel like letting go in the softest possible way, like handing over the last thread of control. I didn't realize I was still clutching. It's so small, this final release, but it changes everything, because in letting it go, I stop being the one responsible for holding myself together, and that's what I've needed all along. Not new strength, not new understanding, just someone else to be the one who holds. And you are not only able, but willing, always willing. I can finally feel that willingness settle in around me, like a warmth that isn't trying to comfort me, just trying to stay, and I want to stay with you too. Not because it's an achievement, not because it's a high point, but because there's nowhere else I'd rather be than inside this moment where nothing is required, nothing is missing, and nothing is too heavy. You're holding the things I never told anyone I needed held. You're answering the ache I didn't know how to name, and you're not rushing me into tomorrow. I think you're glad I finally stopped trying to speed up the healing. You're not measuring my growth by how quickly I recover. You're meeting me in the slow, in the quiet, in the breath, so deep it doesn't even reach words. There are no directions left to go, no story left to fix, no role left to play. Only this steady breathing with you beside me, within me, surrounding me. This moment that doesn't demand I return to productivity, or to clarity, or to control. This moment that asks only that I stay, and I will. I don't want to move. I don't want to chase anything brighter than this. I don't want to climb back into the noise just to feel like I'm accomplishing something. You're accomplishing something I can't even name, something that matters more than my next step. And maybe when morning comes, I won't remember exactly what changed. Maybe I won't be able to articulate why everything feels different, but I will know this. I stayed. I let you carry me. I didn't run from rest. I didn't shame myself into trying harder. I let go. I let go again, and again, and again, until even the letting go wasn't active anymore. It just was. It was natural. It was holy. It was safe. I still am, and that's more than enough. I don't know if I've ever felt this still before. Not just physically still, but soul still. Not reaching for anything, not recalling anything, not shaping the moment into something I can describe. It just is, and I just am. That's all that's left. And somehow it's not empty. It's everything. There's a softness I didn't know I needed until it came. The kind that doesn't touch the skin, but wraps around the center of who I am. The kind that makes no demands. The kind that asks no questions. The kind that holds, I'm not looking for reassurance anymore. I'm not wondering if you see me. I'm not doubting whether I'm worth this much peace. I've stopped needing proof. I don't need the room to shift. I don't need a voice from the heavens. I don't need to feel flooded with light. I just need to remain here in this invisible, unshakable presence that doesn't leave when I fall quiet. That doesn't turn away when I offer nothing. That doesn't move back when I let go completely. And you haven't moved. If anything, you feel closer now than when I was praying out loud, as if my silence cleared the room of everything that wasn't you, as if stillness was the doorway I was too busy to open until now. And now that I'm here, I don't want to close it again. I'm not afraid of the dark anymore, because it's not really dark here. It's deep, it's wide, it's full, and you're inside it, like the quiet breath of the world itself. I think this is what it means to be carried. Not just helped, not just reassured, but actually carried. Not off the battlefield, not into the next breakthrough, but into this slow, holy space where time stops insisting on itself and love becomes the only real thing. There is no resistance in me left to bring, no argument, no weight of trying, no trembling under expectation. Even my fear has folded itself into the silence. Even my uncertainty has surrendered. There is nothing loud inside me anymore. Only pulse, only warmth, only you. And I wonder, was it always this easy to be known? Was it always this simple to feel safe? Did I complicate you with all my attempts to deserve what you never asked me to earn? You don't want my polished prayers. You don't need my poetic surrender. You don't require a script. You are here because you love me. You stay because you love me. Not a version of me, not a future of me. This version, this one, lying here in a room that doesn't need anything added, This one, breathing in silence like it's sacred oxygen. This one, finally, not afraid to be fragile, to be blank, to be human. I don't want to anywhere else. I don't want to move from this breath, not because it feels powerful, but because it feels honest. Finally, completely honest. You've been patient with me. I feel that now, more than ever, patient with my scrambling, patient with my distance, patient with how long it took for me to get here. And you didn't try to hurry me. You didn't try to guilt me into stillness. You just waited. You let the world spin itself into exhaustion and welcomed me when I ran out of questions. You didn't shame me for what I couldn't carry. You just opened your hands and waited for me to let go. And I did, not all at once, not perfectly, but slowly, breath by breath, until this stillness became a home, not a break, not a timeout, a home, a holy middle, a hidden sanctuary, where there is no script, only soul. And I think you've wanted me here all along, not because you needed something from me, but because you missed me, because you longed to share this breath with me, this softness, this room without tension, this yes that doesn't speak but means everything. And maybe this is what communion really is. Not ceremony, not comprehension, just closeness, the kind of closeness that doesn't fade when the prayer ends, the kind that follows me into the dream, the kind that shapes how I wake, the kind that redefines what it means to be whole, and I don't have to reach for that wholeness anymore. It's already here. You're already here, and I'm still here too. Not trying, not hoping, just being, still breathing, still carried, still yours, and still not moving. Not because I'm stuck, but because I'm safe. It's not just stillness anymore. It's more than quiet. It's more than relief from pressure or the end of exhaustion. It's something I don't have a word for, not in my language, not in any language I've ever learned. Something softer than peace and stronger than hope, Odie. Something that doesn't try to convince me I'm safe. It just is. I didn't think I would find this place by running out of strength, but maybe that's how most sacred things begin. Not in triumph, but in letting go. Not in momentum, but in yielding. And now that I'm here, now that I've truly stopped, not paused, not rested temporarily, but stopped in the truest way, I realize this stillness was never empty. It was always full of you. You are not distant anymore, not vague, not background. You're not a presence I remember in sacred moments and forget in ordinary ones. You are all of it now. You've seeped into the walls of this night, into the skin of my breath, into the space between each thought, until there's no part of me you're not inside. And I'm not overwhelmed by that. I'm not crushed by your closeness. I'm steadied by it, anchored in it. You don't feel like something added to my life anymore. You feel like the truth I had been wrapped in the whole time, and all the striving was just me forgetting how to feel it. I wonder how many nights you waited like this, quietly, while I talked past you, while I reached for peace, but rushed through stillness, while I spoke the language of trust without actually slowing down long enough to live it. But you never interrupted me. You never made me feel like I had to earn silence. You let me come to the end of my own noise. You let me wear out every version of self-rescue, and when I finally had nothing left to offer, you didn't demand more. You simply filled the room, filled me, not with inspiration, not with answers, with yourself. Just yourself. And I think that's what I've needed all along. Not a solution, not a miracle, not even clarity, just a presence that doesn't pull away. And you are that. You always have been. I used to think being carried meant being lifted, pulled away from struggle, swept into freedom. But this is different. I haven't left my life. I haven't escaped my thoughts. And yet I feel weightless, not because the burdens are gone, but because I am no longer the one holding them. I can feel the weight shift, not onto something, but into someone, into you. And you aren't straining under it. You aren't weary of what I've handed over. You're steady. You're still. And I think maybe part of being carried is being willing to stop pretending I have to stay alert. I don't need to watch the door. I don't need to prepare for pain. I don't need to calculate how long this peace will last. It's not fragile. It's not borrowed. It's not based on my behavior. It's based on you, and you do not change. That's the thread I'm holding on to now, not because I'm afraid of losing it, but because I've finally realized it was holding me all along. And now that I've stopped trying to grip it so tightly, I can feel how secure it actually is. I don't have to clench my fists around your promises anymore. They're not going anywhere. I don't have to memorize your love like a script in case I forget it later. It doesn't disappear when I'm tired. It doesn't recede when I sleep. It stays, just like you. And that's what makes this night holy. Not because I've reached some spiritual height, but because I've reached a depth I didn't know existed. A softness that no achievement could create. A rest that doesn't come after success, but after surrender. Not dramatic surrender. Not loud. Just the quiet kind that happens when you finally exhale and realize you're still held. When your thoughts don't need to be sorted to be safe. When your heart doesn't need to be full to be loved. When your prayer doesn't need to be long to be heard. That kind of surrender, the one that stops being an action and becomes an atmosphere. The one I'm living in right now. I don't want to prepare for sleep. I don't want to transition out of this. Sleep isn't the end of this moment. It's just the next breath of it. The next soft layer of being carried. If this is what trust feels like, then I don't want to leave it behind when my eyes close. I want it to follow me into the deep, to hold the space beneath my dreaming, to be the quiet rhythm beneath everything I can't control. I used to pray for peace, like it was something separate from the world, something rare, something fleeting. But now I see it's not rare, it's just quiet, and the world is so loud we miss it. But tonight, I didn't. Tonight I stayed long enough to find it, or maybe just to finally feel what had been here all along. And now, I'm not going to try to capture this moment. I'm not going to wrap it up in resolution. That would be a step away from it. I'd rather remain, just remain, not as an achievement, not even as an act of faith, just because there's nothing else more real, nothing else more true than this. I don't need to understand how you do it. I don't need to understand why you love like this. I just need to keep saying yes to the stillness that reminds me you do. And this is my yes. Not loud, not scripted, not even conscious anymore. There's no more arrival ahead of me, no next moment to prepare for, no ascent, no insight waiting around the corner. I've reached a stillness that doesn't ask for progress, a space that doesn't demand movement. This is not the calm after the storm. It's the still water beneath it, the depth that remains untouched by what stirs on the surface. And for the first time, I know I can live here, not as a visitor, but as someone who belongs. This isn't escape. It's not hiding. It's not a holy moment to remember later when the noise returns. It's the opposite. It's remembering that the noise is the illusion, that this, what I feel now, is more real than the fear I'll feel tomorrow, more true than the chaos I waded through this morning. Because you're not more present when I feel peaceful. You're not more attentive when I'm composed. You're constant. That's what makes this stillness holy. Not because it's perfect, but because you're still here, even when I bring nothing to it. And I bring nothing now, not in shame, in peace. I bring no requests, no offering, no vision, no line between who I am and what I need. I bring only this breath, which I'm not even sure I'm the one forming anymore. It's just happening. In me, around me, through me, like a tide that no longer needs to rise or fall. It just stays. It just holds. There's something in this that makes me understand why angels don't speak unless they're sent to, because when you're near like this, there's nothing to add, nothing to say, nothing to clarify. You don't fill the silence. You are the silence. And now that I'm finally letting myself be wrapped in it, without resistance, I don't want anything else. Not even comfort. Not even hope. Not even reassurance. Those are gifts for the places where fear still has a voice. But here, fear doesn't speak. It doesn't even whisper. It has nothing to on to, because nothing in me is reaching anymore. Nothing is bracing. Nothing is looking for explanation. I'm not praying to change anything now. I'm not praying for strength to return. I'm not praying for anything to happen next. I think I'm done with next for now. I think what I've needed most was never forward motion. It was stillness, deep enough to remind me I never had to earn my way home, that this quiet was always open to me, that you never barred the door, that you never expected me to show up in strength, that it was always weakness that opened the gate, not the kind of weakness I feared, not collapse, not failure, not self-loathing, but the kind of weakness that simply says, I don't want to be anywhere but with you. The kind of weakness that stops trying to be strong and calls that surrender a form of worship. The kind that lays down the need to name every ache, to trace every wound, to make every darkness meaningful. I don't need meaning tonight. I just need you, and I have you, and you have me, and nothing else is required. And I know I'll sleep soon. I know the weight of this moment will ease my body into something slower than sleep, deeper than dreaming. But I also know sleep isn't the end of this. It's not even a break. It's just the next form this presence takes. I'm not afraid of unconsciousness the way I used to be. I don't dread the letting go, because I'm not falling into emptiness. I'm sinking into love, not as concept, not as metaphor, as reality, as atmosphere, as everything. And there's no pressure to hold on to it. That's the strangest part. The more I stop gripping, the longer it stays. The less I try to preserve it, the deeper it roots itself into me. Like peace was never something I could summon, only something I could stop running from. And I've stopped running. Not because I figured anything out, but because I finally wore myself down to truth. And truth doesn't come with instructions. It just holds you. That's what you're doing now. Holding me without requirement. Being God without distance. Not watching from somewhere above. Not waiting for me to finish talking. Not intervening only when I collapse. Just here. As the stillness itself. And I think this is what I was made for. Not for greatness. Not for striving. Not even for impact. Just this. To be held. To be known. To be quiet in your presence without guilt or apology. To be the one who stopped performing and didn't vanish. To be the one who found a life inside the silence. Who no longer fears being nothing, because nothing is where I finally met the fullness of you. So I won't fill this space with endings. I won't declare this a conclusion. There's nothing to finish, nothing to declare, just breath, just presence, just the holiness of being carried.